Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's show, we talk with the former Chief Ag Trade Negotiator in the U.S. Trade Rep's office, Kansas native Gregg Doud. He was in Salina last week for the Commodity Classic, and he shares his insights on where we've been and where we're going in terms of trade and the ag economy. We'll also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, and Kansas Grain Sorghum, plus the weekly update for the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com.
In agricultural news from agview.net, USDA reports that cattle numbers declined 2% in that latest inventory count. There were 91.9 million head of cattle and calves on U.S. farms as of January 1st of this year. That according to the National Agricultural Statistics Service cattle report. Of the 91.9 million head inventory, all cows and heifers that have calved totaled 39.5 million. There are 30.1 million beef cows in the U.S. as of January 1st. That's down 2% from a year ago. The number of milk cows in the U.S. decreased to 9.38 million, and the U.S. calf crop estimated 35.1 million head, down 1% from 2020. All cattle on feed, 14.7 million head, up slightly from 2021. USDA NASS surveyed approximately 34,800 operators across the nation in the first half of January. Those surveyed producers were asked to report their cattle inventory as of January 1st, 2022, and the calf crop for the entire year of 2021 by internet, mail, and telephone. Well, U.S. per capita consumption of fluid cow's milk has been trending downwards. That's about the mid-1940s. And it fell faster during the 2010s than in each of the previous 6 decades. Using dietary intake surveys collected between 2003 and 2018, USDA's Economic Research Service examined recent trends in milk consumption by looking at how individuals consume the milk and the consumer's ages. Well, results confirmed that drinking milk as a beverage is the primary way individuals of all ages consume fluid cow's milk. These beverages include plain and flavored fluid milk and other milk-based beverages. And the crop insurance industry urging the White House and key congressional committees not to propose cuts to crop insurance. Now, the White House didn't call for any cuts in the fiscal 2022 budget, and the industry would just as soon keep it that way. In a letter to Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack, industry groups said, as the challenges for America's farmers and ranchers continue to grow, we believe that crop insurance as a safety net is only becoming more important to the stability of rural America. They added, during the tumultuous time, one of the few certainties that farmers could rely on was the protection provided by their federal crop insurance policy. More ag news at agview.net. Stay with us. We'll have more in a moment.
The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
And joining us now is Gregg Doud with Aim Point Research. Of course, Gregg, a native of Kansas, and had a stint as the Chief U.S. Ag Trade Negotiator in the U.S. Trade Rep's office. So, Gregg, back at the Commodity Classic in Salina, so great to see you.
Great to be back and home here. Thank you.
I always like to say welcome home, but you've been busy, and you've taken that knowledge from your career and then the time at the trade office to go around and give some insights on the way you're seeing with trade. And as we look back on last year, what a great year trade-wise go, and 22 looks to be a lot of the same.
Well, I think we're going to have a record year. The numbers come out very soon here of the whole year of 2021 in terms of U.S. agricultural exports. I think it's going to be a record. And of course, some of that is higher commodity prices, but it's also the demand from China. And we've now, with the changes in China of African swine fever and the China Phase 1 agreement, you know, there's a key point on the China Phase 1 agreement. Before we started that negotiation, we had about 1,500 facilities in the U.S. eligible to export products to China. Today, we have well over 4,000 facilities. So I think our exports to China are going to be up about $8 billion from 2020 to 2021.
So why was it so long for that ramp up of the Phase 1? Then I think a lot of folks are asking, was it simply just a matter of it takes that long to get that pipeline full of what we usually think?
Well, we had all new products, all new facilities, all new relationships. You know, these things take time. So we went from 26.5 to 34, 35 billion in 1 year. And people say, well, that's not the 40 that was in the agreement. Yeah, but we're just getting started here, folks. And the situation on meat is extraordinary, on beef is extraordinary. I told my boss, we opened the beef market to China for the very first time in part of this deal. I told him it was going to be $1 billion deal for U.S. beef producers. If you add China and Hong Kong together, it's going to be over $2 billion.
Wow.
So, and that's just in 1 year. We're just getting started here.
The numbers that came out on beef exports, especially China's involvement and others, almost seemed like every report we had new records, new plateaus. Are you bullish then looking forward?
I am, because of consumer demand, not only in China but all around the world. As per capita incomes go up, and that's one of the big drivers domestically, is you have higher incomes and at home here right now is what you're seeing. The correlation with that and beef demand is just absolutely dead on the money. So that's the question we have, is these higher prices now that we see for food all around the world, are these consumers going to be able to hang in there and keep buying this stuff the way they have in the last year? That's what we have to keep an eye on going forward.
We're talking with Gregg Doud from Aim Point Research, and he's the Commodity Classic in Salina. We're going to take a break, come back, focus on the grains, and maybe also see what he looks like for the rest of this year in just a moment.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the soybean checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
And Gregg Doud from Aimpoint Research joins us, of course, former Chief Ag Trade Negotiator, U.S. Trade Rep's office. Okay, Gregg, let's look now at the grain market. We've got to talk about what's been in the news. This situation in the Ukraine, but it still has the wheat market jumping up and down, and we're back to this time where we're seemingly overcorrecting once we maybe get a little high, or are we pricing ourselves out?
The volatility in the grains is going to really be something that nobody understands the volatility that's coming. You've seen the volatility in the fertilizer market in the last few days here. Just wait till we get to springtime here. You've got La Nina, you've got the situation with Ukraine, you've got the volatility in the China market. All of this adds up. And in the wheat market, Russia has a $95 a ton export tax, and that's a third of world wheat trade coming out of that market. If that gets disrupted, or if Putin decides to change that export tax, that's like $2.60 a bushel right there. Depending on what he does with that one thing. The other big issue going forward, and this is like a 2023, 2024 issue, but everybody's already beginning to talk about it, is renewable green diesel, the new technology that converts soybean oil and vegetable oil directly into a diesel fuel that does not have to be blended. This is going to be something, 3-4 years from now, you're going to be sick of hearing about this, but right now this is a big deal.
Because we know, so that's the ramp up then we've seen in the veg oil markets that has really boosted and kind of drugged the whole soy complex along?
It is, and in fact, it's driven by a government mandate out of California of green fuels, and we think that Oregon and Washington here at some point probably are going to follow along. And so already we're seeing the demand for this potentially is several multiples of our domestic production. There's no way to justify all of this and rectify all of this investment right now, but we have billions of dollars of investment coming into this. Oil companies are getting together with our soybean crushing companies, and it's going to be something to behold.
We're just weeks away now from the wheels turning on the planters. Still a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth on acres. Does the world care, that U.S. farmers are still maybe switching some acres, and that may finally come to fruition? But, of course, a lot of producers I talk to say, rotation is my rotation.
I've been all over the country here just this year, just in the last several weeks, and having a lot of different visits with farmers over a cup of coffee. Most of them are not changing a whole lot. And here's the reason why. Cotton prices are really, really high. Corn prices really high. Soybean balance sheet is strong. Wheat is really strong. There's no bad answer here right now. So I think, yes, you have higher fertilizer prices, but even with higher fertilizer prices, that corn number pencils pretty well. So I don't see big changes. Okay. You're going to see some changes on the margin, more on moisture, I think, than anything else. I'm more nervous about La Nina and how long this continues in the western side of the Corn Belt. To me, that's where I get nervous.
I think it's the untold story right now. So, as always, great to catch up with you. Thanks for giving us your insights.
Great to see you.
Gregg Doud with Aimpoint Research has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The Kansas Soybean Yield and Value Contests create friendly competition amongst the state's soybean farmers and showcases the practices that create winning yields. With a premium of 10.5% or $1.37 in added value in the value contest, Henry Farms took top honors. Chad Pinner submitted the top yield in the 2021 yield contest with an irrigated conventional till entry of 111.52 bushels per acre. HBJ Farms of White Cloud had the state's winning dryland entry with 97.61 bushels per acre. Pinner and Brock Hemp with HBJ Farms attributed their top yields to monitoring soil fertility and choosing the right technologies in their field. Top entries in the other regional dryland divisions are Michael Olchen, North-Northeast Conventional Till, 97.1 bushels per acre. Greg Varing, Northeast No-Till, 92.48 bushels per acre. Rod Stewart, North Central Conventional Till, 92.51 bushels per acre. Ryan Stewart, North Central No-Till, 93.16 bushels per acre. Doug Shoup, East Central No-Till, 84.11 bushels per acre. Brad Ensminger, Southeast Conventional Till, 78.76 bushels per acre. Bruce and Teresa Seiler, South Central Conventional Till, 75.73 bushels per acre. R&J Enns Farms, South Central No-Till, 91.1 bushels per acre. RTC Farms, Northwest No-Till, 97.57 bushels per acre. Love and Love Farms submitted the top no-till irrigated entry with a yield of 107.4 bushels per acre. The average yield of this year's entries came to 91.3, more than a 10 bushel increase over the 2020 contest average. Results were announced January 12th at the Kansas Soybean Expo.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
By now, most of you know about the high wind and storms that passed through Kansas on December 15th and left a significant impact across the state, especially the wildfires that spread across parts of northwest Kansas. Over a month has gone by now, and although many people outside this area have moved on to think about new headlines, we know that those who were impacted by the wildfire are still facing a very long recovery process. Many farmers and ranchers lost homes, critical farm structures, and essential resources like hay and grassland. For farmers and ranchers hit by the fire, the focus in the early days was on the welfare of the livestock, but once that was managed, it was clear that the whole region had lost winter pastures and suitable calving areas for the upcoming spring calving season. Although we saw great generosity from across Kansas and other states, it will be months before grass begins to grow again to provide grazing for that livestock. In addition, barns, shelters, and fencing were all lost, and now those farmers and ranchers are trying to rebuild amid high prices and low availability of critically needed supplies. The Kansas Department of Agriculture continues to work in close coordination with our state and federal partners, along with local emergency management, helping the victims of the fire with their immediate needs, as well as the long process of recovery. KDA has taken the lead in hosting a Recovery Resources website, which serves as a one-stop shop for information related to recovery, both for victims and for those who wish to help with contributions. That can be found at agriculture.ks.gov/recovery. KDA has also strongly encouraged an emphasis on mental health resources, knowing the long-term impact will be heavy for those affected. We appreciate everyone across the state who has been instrumental in helping with the recovery of these Kansans who faced difficult circumstances this winter. That spirit of Kansas is truly alive and well. Thank you.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
The Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission held their Winter 2022 board meeting at American Ag Credit in Salina, Kansas to hone in on the year ahead and receive reports from state and national staff deeply ingrained in the sorghum industry advancements this year. The commission is comprised of sorghum farmers from the 9 USDA crop reporting districts of Kansas, elected each year by Kansas sorghum farmers themselves. Presenting to the commission were staff for the Collaborative Sorghum Investment Program housed at Kansas State University, as well as United Sorghum Checkoff Program staff, fulfilling a picture of new opportunities for sorghum growers in the near future. And speaking of new opportunities, Kansas Grain Sorghum has recently welcomed Parker Volgamore, a student at Kansas State University from Scott City, onto our staff as Kansas Grain Sorghum's 2022 Collegiate Fellow. And in the same week that the commission met, Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission Chairman Kevin Knievel presented annual commodity testimony on behalf of the sorghum industry to the Kansas House and Senate Agriculture Committees, reporting on the 2021 growing year and educating policymakers about dynamics in the year ahead. Chairman Knievel, a sorghum farmer near White City, discussed the meaningful year the sorghum industry in Kansas has seen in 2021, noting a 20% increase in acreage to 3.6 million acres of sorghum planted throughout the state and a national average price per bushel of $5.85 last year. In fact, this past year's national sorghum crop was valued at $2.7 billion, the most valuable U.S. sorghum crop in history. Read more about 2021's highlights for Kansas sorghum in the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission's annual report, found online at ksgrainsorghum.org. Reporting for Kansas Grain Sorghum, this is Adam York.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
The Environmental Protection Agency's Farm, Ranch, and Rural Communities Advisory Committee issued a report outlining its recommendations regarding waters of the U.S. rulemaking. Representing a diverse group of stakeholders, including academia, farmers and ranchers, industry organizations, and state and local governments, the committee is a federal advisory group that provides policy advice and recommendations to the EPA administrator on environmental issues impacting agriculture and rural communities. It consists of 32 members from across the U.S. The committee's recommendations on WOTUS include ensuring EPA complies with the Clean Water Act and Supreme Court precedent limiting federal jurisdiction over bodies of water, developing a clear definition of WOTUS that is easily interpreted by farmers and ranchers, protecting WOTUS exemptions for common agricultural features including farm ditches, stock ponds, prior converted cropland, and other small isolated water features, and reconsidering the EPA roundtable process to ensure all stakeholders have an opportunity to voice concerns on WOTUS rulemaking. Last November, the Biden administration released a plan to repeal the Navigable Waters Protection Rule, which KLA and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association do not support, and propose new regulations on common agricultural water features that only flow during rain events. The rule currently is open for public comment, and both organizations are engaging with EPA to voice concerns about the rule. NCBA and KLA support the advisory committee's recommendations, which address shortcomings in the proposed rule.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Premier Farm & Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm & Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Good day. I'm Derek Hermish with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Volatile grain markets are the new normal, it seems. The good thing about true volatility is that it creates much more opportunity than flat markets. However, your opportunity to experience regret is much greater as well. For example, say you sell your soybeans on a 50-cent rally only to watch it go up another $1 the next week after you sell. Can you be happy about selling into the initial rally, or are you going to focus on what you missed out on? Regret should be the least of your concerns when it comes to marketing, but it can rear its ugly head in these environments and negatively affect decisions down the road. Selling your grain at profitable levels is the key. That's what you're always told, but it's never that simple. It is true that you will not go broke selling for a profit, but you're not in the business of making widgets for $1 and selling them for $2. Volatile markets provide opportunity, but they also provide opportunity cost. If you make a decision that nets you 50 cents less on average for your grain than your fellow neighboring farmers, nobody's going to offer you a discount on fertilizer or seed or equipment repairs to help you make up for it. Quite the opposite, as we've seen recently with inputs going higher. There are options, literally, that can be very useful in volatile markets. Yes, I am referring to puts and calls. I know there are many of you out there that are not fans of options. I talk to you quite frequently, and sometimes I agree with you. But in my experience, this is the environment to utilize them. If you'd like to visit with us about it, give us a call at 888-452-8751. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
Well, that's our show this week. Find more online at kansasagreport.net or our social media channels. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.